The latest. Thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you all. The president of France, Emmanuel Macron, had insulted Africans. According to this man, we are ungrateful. That none of the African countries would have been a sovereign state if the French troops were not deployed in Africa.
Non, la France n'est pas en recul en Afrique.
France is not lagging behind in Africa. It is simply lucid. It is reorganizing. I say this because when I read a good part of our press and a lot of comments, people looking with the glasses of yesterday say, "It's terrible, Africa. We are disappearing." No, we chose to move in Africa. We chose to move because we had to move. One, we looked at our past relationship, memorial, cultural. We factualize it. We assume it. We tell each other the truth, but we do not give in to disinformation and interference. Two, we had a security relationship. It was of two natures, in truth. There is a part, it was our commitment against terrorism since 2013. We were right. I think we forgot to say thank you. It does not matter. It will come with time. Ungratefulness, I am well placed to know it. It is a non-transmissible disease to man. And I say this for all African governors who did not have the courage, vis their public opinions, to wear it. None of them would be with a sovereign country today if the French army had not deployed in this region. And I have a moving thought for our soldiers who sometimes gave their lives and fought for years. We did well. We left because there were coups d'etat, because we were there at the request of sovereign states who had asked France to come. From the moment there were coups d'etat where people said, our priority is no longer the fight against terrorism. It is this or that that matters. France no longer had its place because we are not the suppliants of putschists, so we left. And then we decided this is the second part, to reorganize our military presence. Why? Because we had, in a way, a remnants, and we fed ourselves a post-colonial speech. Because in the countries of Francophone Africa, there was this story, and so we had left a presence installed in our bases. Did it still have a justification? Not so much. Was that the radiance of France? No. Greetings to all those who served. It was no longer there, and it was no longer understood. It was used. That is to say that all the activist networks I mentioned came to say, look at the French, they have a camp with 2,000 soldiers there. So they are going to prepare a coup d'etat, and all the possible misinformation was used against us. So we patiently, and I thank Jean-Marie Bockel, I thank him on a personal, and for this mission, because he is one of those who lived in his flesh, in the flesh of his family, what I mentioned earlier. But he led patiently in connection with the ministers in the CMAE, this mission. And so we proposed to the African heads of state to reorganize our presence. As we are very polite, we left them the primacy of the announcement. And you are not wrong, it was us who, and sometimes we had to push them. But not because we are polite and correct and that we reorganize ourselves, that it would be necessary to turn against us by saying they are driven out of Africa. I can tell you that in many of these countries, we did not want to remove the French army or even reorganize it, but we assumed it together. This is the partnership. And so, yes, we are opening a new security and defense partnership. We will have strategic bases. Djibouti is part of it. That is why it is of a completely different nature. I mentioned it in front of our soldiers. It will be perennial, stable, because it is regional. And we will ask our partners to know how to express their needs in terms of defense. And we will do more training, more equipment, more information, more contracts during the defense period.
These people came all in the name of their coming to help us fight the insurgencies, the Al-Qaeda, the what have you. They came in the disguise of helping us to fight insecurity, but we know what they're actually doing here. They are here taking our natural resources away from us. That was the same thing they did in Libya. But one thing they have forgotten is the Libya incident opened our eyes. If truly you are fighting the insurgencies in Africa, with all the insurgencies that we have for decades, and Africa is still where it is, don't you think that we have the right to ask you to move for us to also fight our own fight? After all, these insurgencies are not in your soil. So if we are saying now we want to fight our own battles, must it be a problem if you do not have an interior motive? Africa now want to take its course and its problems on our own shoulders. You have given us aid. Yes, we are surviving on the aids. You have always been our father. Without you, we can do nothing. But now we are saying enough is enough. We want to fight our own battles, and you still have a problem with it. They think Africa would have allowed you to keep looting, exploiting forever and ever. You should know that a time will come that Africa will rise up and fight for our freedom. We are fighting for our sovereignty. If truly we want to be sovereign nations, as you said, we wouldn't have had our sovereignty, then we want to take control over everything that is of the African. Our energy, the natural resources, our security, the economy. The CFA franc that you are imposing on us, which you yourself you are not using. All we are fighting for is our independence, our sovereignty. And that we do not need your help. Our leaders have made it clear to you. The French troops have never done anything. If truly they have helped us, why do we still have insurgencies here and there? How many of them have you captured? Is it Boko Haram, the ISIS, the Al-Qaeda? Which group has the French soldiers able to destroy? And you know the actual reason that your troops are in Africa. Africa is tired of allowing others to fight its battle. We want to be our own fighters. And you still have a problem with it. You have to deal with it because Africa is wide awoken. This revolution for sovereignty and true freedom will never stop until we have total liberation in every aspect of the African. We will not allow you to keep manipulating us. We have leaders who have shown us the way, and we'll keep fighting until the end. Unlike those who shake and dine with you for chicken change, others have risen to fight for the continent. United we stand, divided we fall. So that's the latest around the world. And in France,